Have you ever woken up, the sun barely peeking through your blinds, with a fire in your belly? You have a plan. Today is the day. Start the business. Write the first chapter. Go to the gym. Finally, clean out that garage. You can feel the energy, the excitement, the absolute certainty. You know what you need to do, and you even want to do it. But then something happens, doesn't it? The day slips away. The excuses pile up. And by the time your head hits the pillow that night, you're back at square one wondering, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just do the things I know I need to do? This isn't a unique problem. It's not a sign that you're broken or lazy or fundamentally flawed. This is a human problem. It's a question whispered in the quiet moments of disappointment by millions of people all over the world, every single day. We all have dreams, goals, and aspirations. We have things we desperately want to achieve for ourselves, for our families, for our future. We research the best methods, we buy the planners, we watch the inspirational videos. We have all the information and all the desire, yet the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it can feel like a vast, unconquerable canyon. So, what gives? Why does that initial burst of inspiration fizzle out so quickly? We often blame a lack of motivation, as if it's some magical resource that we either have or we don't. We treat it like gasoline in a car. One day the tank is full, the next it's empty, and we're stranded on the side of the road. But what if I told you that you've been thinking about motivation all wrong? What if the reason you can't stay motivated has almost nothing to do with your goals, your willpower, or even how badly you want something? There's a hidden force at play, something happening inside your brain that nobody ever taught you about. The frustration you feel is real. It's the sting of letting yourself down, again. It's the heavy blanket of guilt that settles over you when you choose the comfort of the couch over the discomfort of growth. I know this feeling because I have lived it. For years, I was the queen of starting tomorrow. But understanding the real science behind why your brain fights against you is the first step to taking back control. It's not about finding some secret sauce or waiting for a lightning bolt of inspiration. Let's get one thing straight right off the bat. Motivation is not a feeling. I want you to read that again. Motivation is not a feeling. We have been conditioned to believe that in order to take action, we must first feel like taking action. We wait for the mood to strike. We wait to feel inspired, energized, ready. But waiting for the right feeling is the biggest mistake you can make, because your feelings are the last thing you should ever listen to when it comes to your goals. Your feelings will lie to you every single time to keep you safe and comfortable in the short term. So if motivation isn't a feeling, what is it? Think of motivation as the reason you have for doing something. It's the why behind the what. It's the logical argument you make to yourself about why a particular goal is important. For example, your motivation to go to the gym isn't the feeling of excitement about lifting weights. It's the desire to be healthier, to have more energy for your kids, to feel more confident in your own skin. The motivation is the outcome you want. The problem is, we confuse this logical reason with the emotional state we think we need to act on it. The human brain is wired for survival, not for your happiness or your ambitious goals. Its primary job for millions of years has been to conserve energy, avoid danger, avoid risk, avoid discomfort. Anything that is new, difficult, or uncertain is flagged by your brain as a potential threat. So when you think about doing something hard, like making a cold call, speaking up in a meeting, or going for a run when you're tired, your brain's alarm system goes off. It will do everything in its power to stop you, and its most powerful weapon is your feelings. It will make you feel tired, scared, overwhelmed, or just plain not in the mood. This is the fundamental disconnect. You have a logical reason to act, your motivation, but your brain floods you with feelings designed to prevent you from acting. And we, being human, listen to our feelings. We say, "You're right, brain, I don't feel like it. I'll do it tomorrow when I feel better." But tomorrow, your brain will do the exact same thing. This is the cycle that keeps you stuck. Understanding this biological truth is liberating. It means your lack of feeling motivated isn't a character flaw, it's just your brain doing its job. Your job is to learn how to override it. So, we know your brain uses feelings to stop you from doing hard things. But there's a deeper, more insidious reason why you lose that initial fire for your goals. It's something that has become a silent epidemic in our modern world, and it's sabotaging your drive without you even realizing it. The hidden killer of your motivation isn't laziness or a lack of willpower. It's the constant, easy, and immediate gratification that is available to you 24/7. It's the cheap dopamine that you're getting from sources that require zero effort. Let me explain. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in your brain, often called the feel-good chemical. But it's more accurate to call it the motivation molecule. Dopamine is released when you anticipate or experience a reward. Let's look at a real-life example of this dopamine trap in action. Meet Sarah. Sarah wants to write a novel. She's had the idea for years, a story that burns inside her. On Saturday morning, she wakes up, makes a fresh cup of coffee, and sits down at her laptop. She feels that spark of excitement. This is it. She opens a new document, types Chapter 1, and then she hesitates. The blank page feels intimidating. Writing is hard. It requires focus, creativity, vulnerability. Her brain immediately flags this as difficult and uncertain. Within seconds, a thought pops into her head. I should just check my email quickly before I start. She opens her inbox. Nothing important, but the act of checking provides a tiny, familiar jolt of anticipation. Then she thinks, I'll just peek at Instagram for a minute to get inspired. 30 minutes later, she's deep in a scroll hole, watching videos of other people's perfect lives. Each new post, each like, each funny video delivers a micro hit of dopamine. It's easy, it's passive, it requires nothing from her. When she finally looks up from her phone, that initial creative spark is gone. What happened here? Sarah's brain, faced with a choice between the hard, delayed reward of writing and the easy, instant reward of social media, chose the easy path. This isn't just Sarah's story, it's your story. It's the story of anyone who has ever intended to work on a project but ended up binge-watching a series instead. It's the person who wants to learn a new language but spends hours playing a game on their phone. It's the student who needs to study for an exam but gets lost in YouTube videos. We're all living in an environment that is actively working against our long-term goals by offering an endless buffet of cheap, effortless dopamine. Recognizing this trap is not about blaming technology. It's about understanding how it affects your biology so you can fight back. If we're going to fix this, we have to get brutally honest about one thing. Your feelings are terrible guides. They are fickle, unreliable, and almost always focused on what is easy right now, not what is good for you in the long run. You are never going to feel like doing the hard things. Let that sink in for a moment. The moment you are waiting for, that magical moment when you will suddenly feel ready, confident, energized to tackle your biggest goals, is never going to arrive. Ever. Think about it. When the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. for your workout, do you feel like jumping out of bed? No, you feel like hitting the snooze button. When you need to have a difficult conversation with a colleague, do you feel like doing it? No, you feel anxious and want to avoid it. The breakthrough comes when you realize that you don't need to feel like it. You can take action anyway. You can feel tired and still go to the gym. You can feel scared and still make the phone call. You can feel uninspired and still write one sentence. While understanding is important, you need a tool. A simple, stupidly easy tool that helps you interrupt your brain's pattern of hesitation and pushes you into action before you can talk yourself out of it. This is where the 5-second rule comes in, and honestly, it will change your life. The rule is this. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds or your brain will kill it. If you have the thought that you should get out of bed, you have 5 seconds to start moving. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. If you have the thought that you should speak up in a meeting, you have 5 seconds. This isn't just my opinion. This is based on neuroscience. Hesitation is the kiss of death for motivation. When you hesitate, you send a stress signal to your brain. Your prefrontal cortex shuts down, and your basal ganglia takes over. The 5-second countdown is actually a form of metacognition. It's a trick you use to outsmart your brain. Using the rule is an act of courage. It's you declaring that your goals are more important than your feelings. While the 5-second rule is your tool for taking action in the moment, you also need to play the long game. Design an environment that makes the right thing easy and the wrong thing hard. Remember, your brain chooses the path of least resistance. Make the path to your goals the easiest one. Rig the game so you win. The dopamine trap. That's why you scroll instead of work. The phone is right there. It's unlocked. It's full of tempting apps. Increase the activation energy for cheap dopamine. Move social apps to the last page, inside a folder. Delete them and access via a web browser. Turn off non-essential notifications. Put your phone in another room to focus. Decrease activation energy for good habits. Want to go to the gym in the morning? Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Put them next to your bed. Want to eat healthier? Spend an hour on Sunday chopping and prepping healthy snacks. Want to write that book? Leave the document open on your computer. Place your laptop where you'll see it first thing in the morning. Make starting so easy it feels silly not to. You are an architect. Your environment is the building for your future self. One of the biggest reasons we quit is because we try to do too much, too soon. We get a burst of inspiration and decide we're going to transform our entire lives overnight. We vow to wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, run 5 miles, write 3,000 words, learn Italian. This all-or-nothing approach is a recipe for burnout and failure. Your brain is already resistant to change and sees a massive overhaul, then goes into full-blown panic mode. It feels impossible, so you don't even start. The secret to building momentum is to aim ridiculously small. So small that your brain doesn't even register it as a threat. Instead of vowing to write a chapter, commit to writing 1 sentence, just one. Instead of committing to a 1-hour workout, commit to putting on your workout clothes. Then do 2 push-ups. Instead of meditating for 30 minutes, commit to sitting in silence for 60 seconds. Then, something amazing happens once you start. Action creates momentum. After 2 push-ups, you might think, I'm already down here, might as well do more. After 1 sentence, the next one often follows. You're tricking your brain into starting. Starting is the hardest part. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Seriously, do it. I want you to imagine the person you want to be a year from today, 5 years from today. What does that person's life look like? How do they feel when they wake up in the morning? What have they accomplished? What relationships have they nurtured? What kind of impact are they making? Get a clear picture. That person you're imagining is not a fantasy. That is your future self. They are waiting for you. They are cheering for you. But they cannot come into existence without you. Every single day with every single choice, you are either moving closer to that person or further away. Choosing to scroll on your phone instead of working on your business plan. That's a vote against your future self. Using the 5-second rule to get out of bed and go for a walk, that's a vote for your future self. Every small act of courage, every time you choose the discomfort of growth over the comfort of stagnation, you are building that future. The journey isn't about one giant leap of motivation. It's about thousands of tiny, courageous steps taken in the face of resistance. It's about forgiving yourself when you slip up and getting back on track with the very next choice. You now understand the science. You know your brain is designed to hold you back. You know about the dopamine trap. You know your feelings are liars. But you also have the tools. You have everything you need. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is called action. It's not called motivation. It's not called inspiration. It's called action. Your life comes down to a series of 5-second decisions. Right now, in this very moment, there is something you know you should be doing. Don't wait to feel like it. Don't let your brain talk you out of it. The time for waiting is over. Your future is calling. What are you going to do in the next 5 seconds? The choice is yours. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.